Have you ever wondered how someone could discover a beautiful gemstone without a metal detector, without expensive mining equipment, or even without a simple rock hammer? It may sound impossible, yet for thousands of years, long before modern tools ever existed, people were finding sapphires, garnets, quartz crystals, and countless other gemstones using nothing more than careful observation. The secret wasn't luck. It wasn't expensive equipment. It was understanding how nature works. Because the earth is constantly leaving clues, every flowing river, every rainstorm, every gust of wind is quietly helping uncover the treasures hidden beneath our feet. The challenge is that most people never notice those clues. Today, you'll learn how experienced gemstone hunters let nature do the hard work for them, and why your greatest prospecting tool isn't something you carry in your backpack. It's the way you observe the world around you. Let's begin where countless gemstone discoveries have started: along moving water, searching along rivers and streams. One of the easiest places to find gemstones without tools is along rivers and streams. But why here? Because rivers are nature's own sorting machines. Every day, flowing water carries enormous amounts of sand, gravel, and broken rock downstream. The lighter materials continue traveling with the current. The heavier ones cannot. Over time, dense minerals, including garnet, sapphire, zircon, and in rare cases even diamond, begin settling into places where the current loses its strength. That's why experienced prospectors don't search randomly. They pay attention to the shape of the river. Look at the inside bends. Notice gravel bars where the water slows down. Check behind large boulders where heavy materials naturally collect. And whenever bedrock is exposed, carefully examine the cracks and crevices. These small spaces act like natural traps, holding dense minerals while lighter sediments wash away. Nature has already done the difficult work. Your job is simply to recognize where it left the heavier material behind. As you look through the gravel, don't search for something that looks like a polished gemstone in a jewelry store. That's one of the biggest mistakes beginners make. Most rough gemstones appear surprisingly ordinary. Instead, look for stones that seem different from everything around them. Perhaps one catches the sunlight in an unusual way. Perhaps it appears slightly translucent. Or maybe its color remains vivid even after being covered by water. Those subtle differences are often the first clue that you're holding something far more interesting than an ordinary pebble. You don't need a pan, you don't need a sieve. Simply scoop up a handful of gravel and allow the flowing water to wash away the lighter sand through your fingers. What remains is naturally heavier. And sometimes, among those remaining stones, nature leaves behind a hidden surprise. Search after rain reveals fresh ground. Rivers aren't the only forces constantly uncovering gemstones. Rain performs another remarkable job. Every storm reshapes the landscape. As rainwater rushes down hillsides, it washes away loose soil, cuts shallow channels, and exposes layers of earth that may have remained hidden for years. For gemstone hunters, this creates fresh opportunities. That's why many experienced prospectors revisit promising locations immediately after heavy rainfall. Walk slowly along freshly eroded gullies. Look carefully where the soil has recently been washed away. Pay close attention to exposed slopes where the earth has been opened by flowing water. Sometimes, small crystals become visible for the very first time. You may notice the sparkle of quartz catching the morning sun, a deep red garnet resting half-buried in the soil, or perhaps the soft olive-green glow of peridot emerging from freshly exposed ground. These discoveries aren't the result of luck, they're the result of timing. Rain simply removes the cover that was hiding them. But here's something many beginners never realize. Finding gemstones isn't about walking faster. It's about slowing down. Most hikers scan the ground for only a few seconds before moving on. Experienced gemstone hunters do the opposite. They stop. They crouch down. They allow their eyes to adjust to the subtle patterns, colors, and flashes of light that others overlook. Sometimes only a tiny corner of a crystal is visible. The rest remains buried beneath the soil. If you're rushing, you'll never see it. Patience becomes your greatest tool. The longer you observe, the more the landscape begins revealing details that were invisible just moments before. Eventually, you stop looking at the ground and begin reading it like a geological map written by nature itself. So far, nature has already shown us two of its greatest secrets. Rivers naturally separate heavy minerals from lighter sediments, creating places where gemstones are more likely to collect. Rain uncovers fresh ground, exposing crystals that may have remained hidden beneath the soil for decades. Neither method requires expensive equipment, only careful observation, a little patience, and the willingness to let nature guide your search. But water isn't the only force shaping the Earth's hidden treasures. In some of the world's driest landscapes, another powerful force performs exactly the same job. Not water, but wind. Wind, the river of the desert. When people think about finding gemstones, they usually picture rushing rivers or mountain streams. But water isn't the only force capable of revealing Earth's hidden treasures. In the world's driest landscapes, the wind quietly takes over the same job. Imagine standing in the middle of a desert. The ground appears lifeless, nothing but sand, scattered stones, and endless heat shimmering across the horizon. Yet beneath that seemingly empty landscape, nature has been working for thousands of years. Day after day, powerful winds sweep across the surface, carrying away the lightest grains of sand, while leaving behind materials that are simply too heavy to move. It's remarkably similar to what a river does. Only this time, the current is made of air instead of water. As lighter sediments disappear, denser materials begin to concentrate on the surface: iron-rich rocks, heavy pebbles, and occasionally, rough gemstones. That's why prospectors searching arid regions don't ignore barren ground. They slow down, they scan carefully for anything that catches the eye. Perhaps it's a rough crystal that seems slightly translucent. Perhaps it feels heavier than expected. Or maybe a small glimmer appears for just a second as sunlight strikes an exposed crystal face. Topaz, zircon, and garnet have all been discovered this way. Not because someone dug deep into the earth, but because nature had already uncovered them. Sometimes, the greatest excavation tool is simply the wind. Nature loves to trick us. Of course, finding something that sparkles doesn't automatically mean you found a gemstone. Nature is full of convincing imposters. A broken piece of glass can reflect sunlight beautifully. Mica often flashes with a metallic shimmer. Even colorful pebbles can appear surprisingly valuable when they're wet. So how can you tell the difference without carrying specialized equipment? Start by looking inside the stone. Glass often contains tiny air bubbles trapped during manufacturing. Natural crystals usually do not. Instead, they develop orderly internal crystal structures formed slowly beneath the Earth's surface. Now look at mica. It peels apart into incredibly thin sheets. That's one of its defining characteristics. True gemstones don't behave that way. They resist peeling because their crystal structure is completely different. Next, hold the stone toward the sunlight. Does light enter the crystal instead of simply bouncing off its surface? Does the interior seem to glow with depth? Rotate it slowly. Many rough gemstones reveal subtle flashes as different crystal faces catch the light. An uncut sapphire may suddenly reveal a deep blue hidden beneath its weathered exterior. A dusty amethyst can surprise you with rich purple tones once sunlight reaches the crystal. These aren't magic tricks. They're the natural optical properties of minerals interacting with light. Learning to recognize those differences takes patience. But once your eyes become trained, you'll begin noticing details that most people never see. Search where others never think to look. Most beginners search the obvious places: open riverbanks, popular hiking trails, easy-to-reach gravel bars. Experienced prospectors often do something different. They look where nature quietly stores heavy minerals. Walk to the base of rocky cliffs. Over countless seasons, weathering breaks loose pieces of rock, allowing dense minerals to collect below. These overlooked areas sometimes hide crystals that have slowly worked their way out of the bedrock. Now look at dry stream beds. Most remain empty for much of the year. But after heavy storms, rushing water briefly transforms them into powerful natural conveyors, carrying sediment before disappearing again. When the water is gone, the heavier materials often remain behind. Another place worth examining is exposed bedrock along rivers. Pay close attention to cracks and narrow crevices. These small openings act like natural traps. As flowing water slows, heavy minerals settle into these spaces and may remain there for years before someone notices them. No expensive equipment is required, just curiosity, careful observation, and the willingness to search where most people simply walk past. The silent clues hidden in the landscape. Sometimes, the gemstone itself isn't the first clue. The surrounding landscape tells the story long before the crystal appears. Perhaps you notice a white quartz vein cutting through dark bedrock. Maybe patches of unusually colored soil stand out against the surrounding ground. Or you discover black sands gathering naturally along a riverbank. These are geological signals. They suggest the area has experienced the heat, pressure, and mineral-rich fluids capable of forming crystals. Even plants can offer subtle hints. Certain trees and shrubs grow better in mineral-rich soils than others. In some regions, unusually healthy vegetation appears above ground that contains elevated concentrations of particular minerals. Does that guarantee gemstones? No. But it tells you something important. The ground beneath your feet is different, and different ground is always worth investigating more carefully. Experienced prospectors understand that successful discoveries rarely begin with a gemstone. They begin with recognizing patterns, when patience finally pays off. Now imagine one final scene. You're crouched beside a quiet stream. The afternoon sun sits just behind your shoulder. Your hands move slowly through wet gravel. At first, nothing, just ordinary stones. Then, a tiny flash. So brief you almost think you imagined it. You reach down. The stone feels heavier than expected. You rinse away the mud in the flowing water. As the sunlight touches its surface, a hidden color begins to emerge. For just a moment, everything else disappears. In the palm of your hand rests a rough gemstone, found without expensive equipment, without machines, without a single specialized tool. Only patience, observation, and the ability to understand the quiet language of nature. But perhaps the greatest discovery isn't the crystal itself. It's realizing that the earth has been speaking to you all along. Every river, every desert, every hillside, every weathered rock, every one of them carries clues waiting to be understood. And once you learn how to read those clues, you'll never look at the natural world the same way again. If you enjoyed uncovering one more secret hidden beneath our feet, be sure to subscribe to Pro Gems. Here, every episode reveals another geological mystery, another practical prospecting lesson, and another remarkable story written by the earth itself. Because gemstones are still out there. Nature is still leaving clues. The only question is, Will you be the one who notices them?